Hello everybody and welcome back to the lab. Today we've got a really good one for you. We're going to pit the Isles Pteranodon, brand new Pteranodon, against Beasts of Bermuda's Pteranodon, and we're going to see how they compare. So which one is better? So before we get into it, don't forget, if you liked the video, please give it a like, and if you found this helpful, please consider subscribing. Right, first things first. Let's get into the mechanics. So we're going to strip everything away. So we're going to look at everything objectively and pick which one we think is the winner. So we'll start with the mechanics. So mechanics wise, they both have a basic attack. One attack each, which is just like a little stab. So they both have one attack, so they're level there. They both have a sniff animation to find water and to find food. They both can fly. And they both fish to find food as well. Although the fishing on the EVRIMA's Pteranodon is different to Bob's Pteranodon. So for example, the EVRIMA's Pteranodon fishes out of the river and looks for schools of fish, puts its beak or snout or whatever you want to call it, into the water, snaps up a fish, lands, eats it as one. Now Bob's is slightly different, where they dive into the sea, into a big pool of water, literally swoops down, dives in, looks for a fish, grabs it, and comes back up and surfaces. Both of the mechanics for me felt great. Bob's diving mechanic felt really, really good, and the Isles fishing mechanic is less forgiving than Bob's, but they both felt great. So I'm not going to say one is better than the other there, because they're both very nice in the mechanics department. Now next, animations. So let's cover animations. So we'll start with the flying animations and how that feels. So in regards to the flying animations and the feeling of the flying, they both felt good. I wouldn't say that Bob's felt rubbish, and I wouldn't say that the Isles felt rubbish. They both felt good. I feel that Bob's flying was more forgiving than the Isles, because Bob's was very much you push your space bar as you're running, you take off, and it seems like you can fly around forever, because Bob's stamina regenerates when you fly, whereas the Isles stamina doesn't regenerate when you fly. It's very much you take off and that's the stamina you've got to manage until you land next, whereas Bob's, that stamina can keep you flying indefinitely because it regenerates. So not sure on how I feel about that. They both felt very smooth, although the Isles looked a lot more realistic in flight than Bob's did, and the Isles felt more responsive, where you could turn on a dime. So I will give the point to EVRIMA in this case, because I don't personally like the idea of being able to fly forever, because that's slightly unrealistic, and when will other predators get the chance to hunt you? So I'm going to give the point to the Isles Pteranodon in this case. So now we move on to the animations from land. So we'll take a look at what the animations are like on land for both of these creatures. So the Isles land animations for the Pteranodon look and feel great. They're very realistic. They're able to turn quite sharply. You're also able to take off stationary and from a running perspective, and they look really good in my eyes. Now for Bob's Pteranodon, they feel very fluid. They look okay. I wouldn't say they look bad, but you're not able to take off standing, and the running animation for me doesn't look as good as Bob's. Same goes for the eating and drinking animations. I think Isles eating and drinking animations are better than Bob's. So that's that. In regards to statistics and stats and battle prowess and which one is overall more of a competitor, so we'll examine them both now. So the Pteranodon in the Isle is primarily a scavenger and is quite weak to boot, whereas a juvenile is very weak, and as an adult it's still pretty weak. It takes about an hour to grow roughly, and you're not going to be taking on Carnos or Utas in my books with a Pteranodon, because they are very, very fragile. Primarily used to just scout the map, look around. Don't get me wrong, they can fight in a skilled player's hands, but they're more primarily for scavengers. Bob's, on the other hand, is a little bit similar. They are there to scavenge, but they can also hold their own in fighting. So if they were required to fight, they can do so, and then they can continue to grow, because Bob's growth is uncapped. So they can continue to grow to fight even bigger carnivores, etc. And they can become an absolute nightmare in bob. You see them flying around, taking on Rexes and all kinds of things, which isn't realistic to me. Now, $1,000,000 question, which one do I prefer and which one do I think is better? Again, guys, my opinion based on what we've just said. I personally I am going to pick the Isles Pteranodon, purely because of the realistic aspect. Not because of the animations, etc., or the way it feels to fly. I personally like the aesthetic of their model, their animations, and the realistic aspect of it being able to land, take off, and not fly forever. Sorry, Bob. But yeah, that's that. I'd like to give a shout out to my 4 patrons: Celatay, J72 Gaming, Highball, and Nuggies. Massive thanks for supporting the channel, and if you want to support the channel, you can always check out my Patreon. The link is in the description and on screen now. Also, please don't forget, if you like the video, please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe if you found this helpful or you want to see more. I've also got a Discord, so feel free to join there. You can PM me and ask me any questions about the Isle or anything you feel is relevant. I do not mind you PMing or joining the Discord at all. That's it from me today, guys. I've been Shadows in the lab. See you next time.